So, I don't really give manga recommendations because I'm a very firm believer in everyone likes what they like, and people are mostly uncompromising on that. You know, you just like whatever you like, and that's cool. Like, you know, everybody's different. It's fine. But, you know, Dress Up Darling happened this past anime season, and for a lot of us, it left a little something to be desired because the first 4 episodes kind of set it up to be about cosplay, and, you know, maybe we'll go to these events and we'll go deeper into the world of cosplay, and then that didn't happen, and it just turned into another generic rom-com with cosplay in it. Which is fine, but a little disappointing. So I was scrolling around, Amazon probably, I don't remember exactly, but I was scrolling around looking for new stupid manga to read, because that's what I read, is manga that's inherently a little bit stupid. And I happened to come across a manga that's just started getting an official translation, and it's recommended by the creator of One Piece. And that's eye-catching, you know, like, it's not like the creator of One Piece recommends anything, you know? So, I gave it a read, and I was pleasantly surprised. Allow me to introduce you to 2.5 Dimensional Seduction. Yes, it is just as stupid as it sounds. Now, this is absolutely a manga that you kind of have to get through the introductory part to really get to the good stuff, right? Because this cover does not necessarily make a great first impression. And I'm aware of that, because it didn't give me a good first impression either. But once you get past like the first 10 to 20 chapters, and the 2 main characters start going to cosplay events, it actually becomes pretty interesting, and it gets really in depth about the world of cosplay, especially in Japan, where entertainment is like the big thing. Like, you know, when you're popular, that you win in life. Like, if you're viral or whatever, you win at life in Japan. That's how it is. So they take entertainment very, very seriously. In this manga, they go into depth about the reality of cosplaying, and it's not necessarily about the creation of the cosplay, but rather the execution of how to get popular, and like what kind of things you have to do at events to get attention, and how good can your photo collections sell. It doesn't sound exciting, and it's not really, but it's adorable because it's backed by these characters who are, of course, in high school, and these 2 main characters, I forget their names. It's been a while since I've read this. These 2 main characters are both very much otaku loner types. Interacting with each other, they've found like the first real, genuine connection to another person that pretty much either of them have had. And they bond over this character she's cosplaying. Obviously, that's not the cosplay. This one is. Let's hope it's not the other way around. But yes, so she cosplays this character, Liliel, and they bond over their love for the anime that Liliel's from. And he, you know, the guy's in charge of the manga club or whatever, and then it kind of changes into the cosplay club. But anyway, as the story evolves, you get more cosplayers introduced into the mix. And one of the most satisfying, like, I guess, themes or like tropes I've seen in anime is, like, you know, when these, like, a group comes together for a common purpose, even though all the members of that group are all so different, but they're united by like a common interest, and when they finally get their act together after like a few chapters of fucking it up repeatedly, it's like super satisfying, because that happens around like the chapter 50-ish mark. And I was like, holy shit, this is actually really good. So like the 2 main characters are super charming. They're just trying to figure out how to go about like having a friend and having to, you know, maybe possibly deal with romance. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the characters' lives. They're trying to figure it all out while also doing these adorable cosplays, and it's very charming. And there's a lot of, like, even like a lot of the characters have really good backstory, that the backstory like depends on a lot of entertainment culture. Like, one character's dad is a manga creator who really got lost in his work and got depressed, and then, like, he thought he couldn't make a good manga or whatever, but it turns out the main character was someone who sent him a fan mail, like, 10 years ago. And, like, another character has very much, like, a social anxiety disorder, and she works to overcome it through cosplay and her friendship with the other characters. Like, there's a lot of really good stuff here. There's, like, character development. And it's really good. Like, it's not amazing, right? Like, you know, amazing manga, like, are all over the place. But this is very, very charming and very sweet. And if you are interested in, like, the technicalities of how to go about cosplaying at events and such, like, they go over tactics to get attention and that kind of thing. And, like, they compete with other cosplayers who are more well-known and that kind of thing. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff that goes on here, and I've really enjoyed it so far. And I think, you know, that recommendation by the creator of One Piece went a long way, because in Japan, they're already up to, like, chapter 111 at this point. And actually, on this very day that I'm recording this, volume 2 is coming in the mail. So maybe I'll insert a clip of me opening that in, like, a little unboxing. This is just an adorable manga. So if you're into, like, if you like Dress Up Darling, but you like your character a little more over the top, and you maybe are a little interested in, like, the entertainment industry, definitely recommend this 2.5 Dimensional Seduction. The fan translation only goes up to about chapter 58, but if you can read Japanese for some reason, the raws go up to 111 as of right now. Even because I've only read up to where the fan translation is. I've only read up to chapter 58. And I've enjoyed it all the way through. I've enjoyed it all the way through so far. Like, it's just very charming. It reminds me of, like imagine Sayakano, but instead it's about cosplay, if that makes sense. The people in Japan really seem to like Sayakano, so if you ever seen That's How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend, which is, like, the one where they do the fucking, they get in, like, a group and make a visual novel or whatever, and they sell it. It's almost exactly like that. But this one I actually find to be a little more well-paced and well-developed. Like, it has much better characters in my eyes. Like, I don't really remember much about Sayakano. Shows how much I cared about it, but I found that the characters in this manga were more satisfying to watch grow. There's one moment in particular in this manga that really sticks out to me, and I'll spoil it here. So if you don't want it spoiled, whatever, but, you know, go read it instead. I mentioned there was a scene where, like, all the girls come together for, like, the cosplay thing, and so they're doing a group cosplay. This is around the chapter 50 mark, and they're, like, united by the common interest or whatever, and they finally get their posing act together, because posing is really important. Like, you know, photographers can't take pictures if you don't keep changing poses, right? And the goal is to keep the photographer's attention for as long as possible. So you got to keep changing your poses, and your poses have got to, like, make sense. Like, maybe they're a reference to the manga or the anime or whatever. But the four of them are always, you know, they had trouble. They were looking at different places. So, like, all four of them had eyes doing whatever. But there's this moment where they finally get their act together, and the main guy, like the protagonist, he's at the back of the crowd, and he's holding his hand up. And all four of them look directly at his hand, and that's how they get their like, faces lined up for the pictures. There's, like, this whole fucking inner monologue where the main girl is like, we're being serious here. We got our game faces on, like, that shit. And I was like, whoo, that's nice. Like, that, like, I almost got goosebumps from that. Almost. Like, that's pretty impressive for a manga with a stupid name like this. I guess my point is, you should read this. You should read this if you were disappointed with Dress Up Darling. If you were not disappointed by Dress Up Darling, then whatever. Who cares? If you thought you were missing something from Dress Up Darling, read this. Please welcome generic protagonist number 3042. Whoops. Sorry about that. Whoopsie. My bad, guys. Don't kill me, okay? That's funny.